Turn the page, live your life every day. Don't let anybody stand in your way.
Mike Foster here. We haven't done a Whatcha Reading in a while. And I'm showing you what I've been reading. Boy, I've been reading a lot. I'm up to probably 60, 70 books a year. And I think you guys should try to read as often as you can. This is, I think, my 15th edition of Whatcha Reading. What are you reading? And I've been doing this for years and years. And some people like it, and some people just, they don't care because they don't read. We're evolving into a society that reads less and has a less attention span, and that's fine. But I don't care about this. I'm going to do Whatcha Reading. And these are 6 of the books I've been reading. They're both fiction and nonfiction. The first one is The Shores of Tripoli. And this one is by, what's his name? James L. Haley. This is the first of a trilogy that he wrote about Lieutenant Putnam, who starts off as just a swabby in the Navy back in the 1801. It's even before the War of 1812. And what I like about, I love these naval battles at sea. This is, they're over by Tripoli, which is on the coast of North Africa in the Mediterranean. And the battles they have, they're amazing. He's fighting the Barbary pirates. They had a lot of pirates out there, and there was there's piracy. They try to sensationalize it, but piracy was terrible. They would go in there and they'd take your ship and they'd take your goods. And the Americans were fighting that, but this is a prelude to why we got into the War of 1812, is because of not being able to protect our naval fleets out in areas where they were hostile and against us. Great read, Shores of Tripoli, James L. Haley. I love naval battles, and I've got like dozens and dozens of books about them. All right, now this is a great, great writer for, everyone talks about Grisham for legal thrillers, but I like Scott Turow. He started off with Presumed Innocent way back in the day, and The Burden of Proof, and Pleading Guilty. This one's called Testimony. This takes place following up Bosnia and war crime. He's working in the war crime division, and it's very, very, very well written. It's got all kind of layers of espionage and drama and legal things that I like to deal with. Stephen King has said, put this one on your don't miss list. LA Times, no one writes better mystery suspense novels than Scott Turow. And Daniel Silva and Jeffrey Toobin gave some nice praise for this one. This one's been around for a little while. It's about 10 years old. Check it out. Very, very well written. And if you haven't discovered Scott Turow, shame on you. Read him. He's excellent. That's all serious stuff. But now if you want to just chill out and laugh, you got to read anything by Carl Hyacin. He's kind of like Dave Barry down there in South Florida. These crazy Miami type guys. They write the craziest literature, novels, stories. Why? Because apparently Florida's crazy, and the people there are crazy, and they don't care, and they laugh about it. And Razor Girl is a good indication. They call her Razor Girl. I don't want to give it away, but she, remember back when they did those scams where someone would pull up in front of you and slam the brakes on and you smash in them, and then they do some insurance fraud. She would do that, except she was doing something with a razor, shaving various parts of her body. And I'm going to let you Google it or figure out what, and then she gets hooked up with a guy who's going to figure out why it all happened and get to the bottom of it and do all the hijinks that Carl Hyacin, another guy you should read, he's been around 25, 30 years. He's South Florida, and he knows how to talk about the madness, and it's fun. Great, great fun read. Check that one out. So those are my fictions. Now my non-fictions, we're going to start off light and then move to heavy. How could you not like this guy? Look at that, that's the best cat ever. That's the best cat ever. That cat's called Polar Bear, and this is written by Cleveland Amory, who is a great, great advocate for animal rights, and he's been passed for a while, but he was a very, I'd say he was satirical writer. But he wrote about animals quite a bit. He also wrote about the cat who came for Christmas and the cat and the curmudgeon, and who you could guess who the curmudgeon is. It ain't me, it's Cleveland. And he said this, he discovered this cat years ago. He was a stray, and he wandered into his life, and he changed his life for the better, like animals do for a lot of people. And this is it's a beautiful read, but it's also after the cat is passed. And again, if you've had animals, or if you've loved living creatures like animals or humans, you understand the loss, but the love and what they bring to it. Read this, The Best Cat Ever. Read the whole trilogy. Cleveland Amory, Best Cat Ever. Now this is a good one. You guys all know Mike likes to play poker. Mike likes to gamble. Makes a lot of money gambling, breaks even most of the time. And more up than down, sometimes down. This one's called Cowboys Full. It's the story of poker by James McManus. And this isn't just a book about, hey, gambling, this, that, Vegas. It starts out back in the day, way, way back in the day when they invented card playing, when they invented poker. It came from, I think, from France and different parts of Europe. I think it was called Poku and Paka and Popo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those right, but it gives you the whole history. If you're interested in the etymology of how things derive into what we consider, normal or just day-to-day, business as usual, you'll enjoy this because that's how it started. This guy's a good writer, James McManus. I don't know, he's big into gambling, but he follows the history of poker from the beginning all the way up to the World Series of Poker, which actually started at Binion's in downtown Vegas. It was called Binion's Horseshoe, and the first World Series of Poker, I think there were like 5 guys, 8 guys, and there's a buy-in. There's a $10,000 buy-in, and it's still the same buy-in, but it's now evolved into over 10,000, 20,000, lots of people, where the first place, back in the day, only whoever was the last man standing, wasn't women involved at that time, so that's not sexist. The last man standing, they get the whole pot, but now it's evolved into this major thing where there's lots of payouts, and they play Texas Hold'em. Google it. It's an interesting game, and this is an interesting book. Now the last it's interesting. This is apropos because Michael Lewis wrote, it was called The Fifth Risk. He wrote this after the first Trump presidency, about 2017, 2018, and it's a book about how the Trump transitional team ignored everything that the original Obama team left them for all the major houses, all the major categories where they have to do things like like all the departments, Department of Education, Department of Health and Welfare, Department of this, Department of that, Department of this. There are millions of people involved in these and hundreds of billions of dollars involved, and you have to do it the right way. The fifth risk is, well, read it, Google it, and understand that it was a fail the first time. I mean, we're holding our breath, and hopefully it's not a fail the second time. But it's a fascinating read on what goes on behind the scenes in Washington and in politics, and what needs to be done to run a government and to run a country. And this will let you know the right things and the not so right things to do. Fascinating read. These are 6 books that I'm reading. I love to hear about what you guys read. These are heavy. I'm going to lift a few of them. This is what Mikey's reading, and I hope that you guys keep reading every day. Hope you enjoy these videos. Check out Live Life 365 at my socials. Let people know. Let's spread the word. Till next time, peace.
Live life 365.
Where does this take place? I believe that cat's called Snowball. Where's his name? Let's get it. And you know, like what are they called? Hold on. Yes, I'm exhausted from that. I need some iced tea. Who put vodka in this? excited.